Once there were two sailors named Leslie and Jack. Both dreamed of discovering distant shores, places where treasure, happiness, and all of the answers to life's questions were hidden. They set sail from the same ship, their ships stocked with supplies and their hearts filled with excitement. Each had maps filled with knowledge, places offering new information, new skills, and new experiences. Leslie, eager to gather as much information as possible, stopped at every island. She learned about the stars on the Isle of Science, about the explorer's journey on the Isle of History, and filled her ship with books, charts, and tools, everything that she thought she would need to be successful. Meanwhile, Jack approached the journey differently. He stopped at the same islands, but at each stop, he took time to reflect. On the Isle of Science, he didn't just memorize the constellations. He practiced using them to guide his ship in both calm and stormy seas. On the Isle of History, Jack studied explorers' decisions, understanding why some succeeded and why others had failed. He let each lesson shape his action, teaching him when to trust the old ways and when to adapt. Months passed and both sailors had gained vast knowledge. Their ships were heavy with information. Feeling prepared, they head towards the distant shore. But as they continued, the weather changed. The skies darkened, the seas swelled, and a massive storm loomed ahead. Leslie, confident in her knowledge, forged ahead. I've learned everything that I need to know, she thought, trusting that the information she had collected would surely be enough to get her through the storm. She set her sails and sped forward. Jack, on the other hand, paused. He remembered reading about the storms in books, but he also knew from experience that information alone wasn't enough. Storms are unpredictable, and no amount of theoretical understanding can fully prepare you for the chaos. For Jack, it wasn't just knowledge, but wisdom, the ability to apply what he had learned with patience and insight that would help him navigate through the storm. So just like Leslie, Jack adjusted his sails, but he slowed down his pace and used both knowledge and wisdom to steer the course. As the storm raged, Leslie struggled. All of the facts that she had collected about the proper way to navigate storms seemed distant, and she began to realize that she hadn't taken the time to learn how to appropriately apply the knowledge when it mattered most. Jack, on the other hand, navigated the storm, not only relying on his knowledge, but the wisdom that he had cultivated through his own experience. Because of his approach, Jack knew when to push forward, when to hold back. He knew when to follow what the book said, and he knew when to trust his instincts. And his ship stayed steady, not because he knew everything, but because he understood how to use what he knew in the right moment. Wisdom is the ability to use knowledge. We live in a world where information is everywhere. You can Google anything, you can listen to podcasts, you can read books from some of the greatest minds ever. There has never been a time in history wherein it was easier to obtain knowledge and to gain information. And yet many struggle to bridge the gap between knowing something and understanding something. The truth is that knowing is simply having the information. Understanding goes a lot deeper. Think about it. You can know how a car engine works by reading manuals, but without practical experience over time, you won't be able to fix it when it breaks down. You can go to business school for 4 years and gain information, but that doesn't guarantee you a successful business. There is a gap between knowledge and wisdom, between knowing and doing. And it is the gap wherein true growth happens. I love what I heard Les Brown said. Les said, if information alone changed people's lives, everybody would be skinny, rich, and happy. If simply having information were enough, wouldn't most of us be where we want to be? There's no shortage of diets, financial advice, or happiness tips out there. We are a generation swimming in facts, and yet we often feel stuck and unfulfilled. Part of the reason is because we have been taught our whole lives that knowledge is power. I heard Myron Golden say, knowledge is not power. Knowledge is potential power. Knowledge alone is not power. Power comes from applying knowledge. It's not what you know, but it's what you do with what you know that holds the real power. Having information, it does put you ahead, but until you put it into practice, nothing changes. You can have the best strategy for saving money or for getting in shape, but if you don't take action, those facts remain just that. Facts, locked away, never impacting your life. If we want to live a fulfilled life, our goal should be to allow the information that we gather to inspire action, ultimately leading to the transformation that we desire. This is where both learning and adaptability come into play. True learning isn't just about absorbing information, it's about applying it. I had a mentor that taught me that there's 3 stages to learning. The first stage is to gain the information, and this is the stage where many are at. You gain the information. So he said, Aaron, your first step is to learn the information. So I'm going to spend my energy taking you under my wing and teaching you the information. The next step after gaining the information is application. So physically show me that not only have you heard it, but you understand it by applying what you heard. And then after application becomes the transformation. And once transformation happens, the things that you learned have now become a part of who you are. And once you go through information, application, and transformation, you can now teach somebody else how to do it. That is when you're not only impacting your life, but you're beginning to impact the lives of others. And I say all that to say, you don't truly know something until you have put it into practice. And when you apply what you've learned, you gain the experience. And experience over time brings you something even more valuable, and that is wisdom. Wisdom comes from experience, reflection, and repeated action. It's the insight that is gained from the times when things didn't go as planned, when you had to adapt and find a new way to move forward in a situation. What I love about wisdom is that it teaches us that success isn't about perfection. It's about resilience, adaptability, and continuous growth. Learning in its truest form should lead to change. In fact, any situation that you can look at that you have not changed, you have not learned. Experience is one of life's greatest teachers, but it's not just the experience itself that teaches us. It's what we do after the experience that matters most. It's the reflection, the learning, and the application that transform knowledge into wisdom. I heard a story about a man that needed to go to the doctor. He was experiencing pain in his arm and wanted to go see someone about it to make sure that he was okay. So the man goes through all the trouble of making the appointment, arriving 15 minutes early, sitting in the waiting room, all to go see the doctor. He gets into the room, the nurse checks his vitals, and eventually the doctor comes in. The doctor says, "Hey, so what's going on today? What can I do for you?" The man said, "Hey, doc, every time I press here, it hurts." And the doctor said, "Okay, so you're saying every time you press right here, right? Is this the spot?" "Yeah, doc, that's the spot." "Okay. So every time you press here, it hurts." "Yeah, doc. Does it hurt anywhere else?" "No, it's literally just when I press right here." And the doctor said, "Well, stop pressing there." And it seems so obvious, but how often do we continue in the things that we know hurt us? Wisdom isn't gained by pressing the same sore spot over and over again. It's gained by making the decision to stop doing what's not serving you, to begin looking inward and reflecting and challenging ourselves to change. And I want you to hear me. The gap in your growth journey isn't an information gap. There's too much information out there available to you. The gap in your growth journey, the reason you're stuck, the reason you feel stagnant, it's not an information gap. It's an application gap. Where there is no application, there can be no transformation. It's impossible. You cannot have one without the other. And so it's time to look into the mirror and be honest with ourselves. Am I drowning in information but neglecting proper action? If you're feeling out of control, it is the applied knowledge that will give you the wisdom to navigate the storm that you're going through. So I have to ask you, what do you know that you're not using? What do you know that you are not doing? And why are you avoiding it? It should be our ultimate goal to be people of wisdom. And wisdom is about knowing when and how to use the knowledge and then doing it. It's about applying it in practical, meaningful ways. And when I say meaningful ways, I'm talking about the ways that will align with your values, your foundation, and your goals. If you don't remember anything else I say today, remember that knowledge tells you what and how, but wisdom tells you why and when. And you need both on your growth journey. Together, knowledge and wisdom, they create a powerful force. Knowledge does its job in guiding you and showing you the possibilities in life. And wisdom does its job in grounding you and helping you make sound decisions and take meaningful action. When combined, you're no longer just gathering information, because as stated, the power is not just in the information, but the power is in transforming it into something that truly matters. So where does that leave us? On a journey, on a lifelong journey of seeking both knowledge and wisdom. Don't just strive to know more. Strive to be more. Challenge yourself to be the person who takes action, who learns from experience, and grows from every situation. The power of knowledge isn't in having it, it's in using the doing, the applying, and then you get to the growing. Lifelong learning, it isn't just about collecting facts. It's about translating what we know into what we do. And through this continued action, we develop discipline, we develop resilience, and we develop the ability to grow beyond what we could have ever imagined. As you navigate your own seas, remember, knowledge is your map, but wisdom is your compass. And it's not enough just to reach the shore. How we get there matters. And in focusing on how we get there, we eventually become the person that can weather any storm and keep moving. Always remember that growth is a journey. It's not a destination. I'm in it with you, and I'll see you on the next one.